Okay, here we are at the very last step in our review of the spatial hydrology tools that we're going to review in this part of the lesson. And we are going to derive a grid, a basin grid. So let's go back into ArcGIS. And what the basin does is it takes your flow direction grid. So we could have done this right at the beginning of flow direction, but I wanted to wait and leave this for the last step because should we be able to move on to the next set of topics, we'll be talking more about watersheds and basins. So let's just very simply give it a meaningful name and a meaningful location. We'll call it basin and explore the results. Okay, what ArcGIS does is it generates a grid that's just a numerical grid. It's an integer grid where each area that's common, that drains to a common point based on the flow direction, gets assigned a value. So this whole area right here that I'm pointing to would be one basin, and it probably has a unique value of in mine, it's 83. So I know you can't see that on your screen. I have a dual screen here, but you can use your identity tool and explore the different watersheds. And essentially, they are watersheds. They're areas that drain to a common point. And it generates one grid that's a basin grid. So if we put our Laguna Beach raster graphic back on and use our effects tools, you can swipe down at the bottom here. Let me zoom into the bottom here because this is what I wanted to point out, is that things get a little weird down at the bottom when there's built up areas as far as ArcGIS being able to derive a basin. I don't know what's going on with my effects tools. Oh, because I have Shreve here. Okay, make sure you have basin in your effects and then you can swipe and you can see what's going on. So when we start learning more about watersheds, which is an area that drains to a common point in the next section, we'll use the watershed function and compare derived watersheds with ones that are automatically top-down derived from ArcGIS. But this is a way of using the hydrology tools to identify areas that drain, basin areas, and later on, time permitting, we'll explore deriving a watershed, how you derive a watershed from a topo map, and how we can compare the hand-drawn watershed with the computer-derived watershed. So just know that these results are all based on numerical pattern recognition based on the DEM. The DEM has constraints based on its grid cell resolution. So if you did all of these tools using a 3-meter DEM, you'd get different results. A 30-meter DEM would give you different results. Just appreciate that. And I hope that you've enjoyed our dive into the spatial hydrology tool set in ArcGIS.